Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This will be my top 10 stocks as we head into Monday, November 1st. This will be a technical analysis breakdown, so if you're somebody that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about the tool of technical analysis and how it can be used to make good decisions as a trader, then this will be a video for you. Real quick before I get started, I do want to personally invite you to get signed up for this free live online class that I'm offering next week on Thursday. So if you're liking what you see, you want to learn more about technical analysis and how it can be used to build consistency as a trader, then definitely get signed up. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link down in the description box you can click on. If you're watching at my site, then there's an area right there on the webpage that you can get signed up with. So like I said, keep that in the back of your mind, and if you're liking what you see, then definitely get signed up for the class. First stock here, ticker symbol LCID, and a couple quick disclosure points. I'm doing the 30-minute time frame. So for those who are new, all that means is that each one of these candlesticks, as they're called, represents 30 minutes worth of time. And then also the market is still open for a little bit of time. So yes, these candles here you'll be watching are still going to be moving. So the market's still open, but I kind of enjoy doing this that way. If there's breakouts or certain things happen, sometimes we can witness it play out live. But as far as kind of the general areas and general premises are concerned, all that plays is kind of established right now. And key point here being nothing has really changed for this one other than confirmation that, yeah, this red line here is apparently a very, very stubborn and very, very annoying level right there at 38.75-ish, which I talked about in the previous video. Now, the good news is that the price did prove today that it's got the strength. It's got the ability to break through that price level. But the problem is, as far as maintaining above the level, well, that was a different story as the price dropped back below it. Same exact thing happened on Thursday. You can see right there, yeah, the price did have the ability to break above it, but staying above that level is where it really struggled. So 38.75 going to be that very stubborn area headed into next week. As far as levels of support are concerned, and just from an overall trend building perspective, very nice stuff here. When you look at the lows, I mean, they've already been getting higher and higher, but then you look at the low today and check that out. Sure, it pulled back, but it built yet another higher low. And from a trend building perspective, that's what it's all about. You want to see those higher lows, and that was accomplished today. So yeah, annoying that the price broke out and then failed back downwards. But overall, from a bigger picture perspective, the trend is still fully intact. Next one, BKKT, and what a great way to end the week on this one. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of these lines as they serve their purpose now. But the big dynamic that finally happened today, so let me extend this out, and this will mean a little bit more to those of you that have been watching past videos, but that red line there at $30 has been a very, very stubborn and annoying level, including this morning. I mean, check it out. Several times this morning, price kept getting rejected by it, but then finally when the price was able to get through it, the price never looked back and has continued to move. So in other words, the breakout is underway. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that line there as it served its purpose for now. As far as next key levels to watch moving into next week, one of the newest areas to watch very closely is going to be that former breakout point right there at the $32 mark. So if you like to play pullbacks, then yeah, $32 might be an interesting area that you could find some value in. As far as, resistance levels, this is where things get tricky, but in a good way. But overall, you can see that the price is already broken out of that resistance right there at 37.50. So another little miniature breakout is underway. Again, that candle's still moving, but that's why I like to do this, because it's fun to watch this breakout that's underway take place. So right now, it's just a question of, okay, is this breakout the start of something much bigger? If you're saying, no, I don't think it's a true breakout right now, well, yeah, you'd probably want to play more pullbacks. But if you're saying, no, I think this breakout is the start of something bigger, then this is a situation where you might want to try to catch some momentum up here. But as of now, you can see a new breakout is underway. Is there more strength to it? Does it need to take a breath first? All those will be questions that you need to answer as far as your personal trade plan is concerned. But point here being great volume, great momentum. So we'll see how it all carries into next week. Next one, METX, and this will mean a tad bit more to those that watched the video previously, but for those of you that didn't, I put that resistance trend line into play there, and you can see that today. Finally got the breakout of the trend line, and not the greatest of breakout. I mean, it still broke out, which is good, because you can see it broke out, came back up there, went back, and then made another return. However, has now come back down here. So overall, the chart is still perfectly fine. So if we just look at it from strictly, well, where are these lows at? Well, we have a set of lows there, and now you look at, this higher base. So from overall, you still have very clear stair-steps progressing the upwards direction. But if you were somebody that was playing this trendline break where you wanted to buy right there, again, that was a totally valid and plausible, trade plan on your part. A little bit of annoyance because it really just hasn't gotten any sort of, big follow through. But again, that's more of a kind of a narrow term picture, because when you take a step back and look at the past several days, everything here is still perfectly fine. So the breakout is underway, no doubt about it. So I'll get rid of that line. Is it the most impressive breakout? No, but hey, it's still a breakout nonetheless. As far as some of these newer key levels are concerned, going to go ahead and adjust this new level of support up to the 60-cent mark. And then as far as areas of resistance are concerned, it does really seem that, give or take, right around the 73-cent mark, as random as it is, just seems to really be a big problem point. You can see right there, didn't quite hit it, got slightly above it, hit it directly right there. So the general area of 73 is going to be public enemy number one. So overall, a breakout has occurred. Now let's see if the price can get above and stay above 73. Next one here, AMC, and what a crazy, I was going to say day, and it was a crazy day, but mainly just a crazy 30 minutes. I mean, look at that 30-minute session right there. Huge move to the upside. The problem is that big move basically sacrificed all its gains. Now, not all of the gains, which is, encouraging, and which also reveals that, there's definitely a key level of support down there at 34.55. You can see that, that's essentially where the bounce happened today. And then you go back previously, and you can see another bounce happen from that area. So at this point, it was looking like, okay, wow, this is a massive double bottom. But again, that fast, the price came back down. Now, at least the price did bottom out right there before starting to head back up. So it's not like it, totally came back to where it was. But what would make the chart look really, really bad is if the price were to come down to 34.55 and then break down below there. Because, think about what that would be saying from a story perspective. That would be saying that the story is huge bounce, and not only does the bounce fail and go back to where it started, but then it goes even lower. Again, I'm not saying that's what's going to happen. I'm just saying from kind of a quote-unquote storybook perspective, that's why you would not want to see the price drop back below 34.55. In terms of areas of resistance, nothing here has changed. Still going to want to watch that purple line there, the 50-period moving average, which I've talked about before, and then that red line up there at 35.75. But yeah, a very bizarre day. Next one, AAPL. Apple had earnings, and overall, I don't mean to say it the obvious, but I will anyways, very, very impressive bounce. You stop and think about the fact that started off the 30-minute morning down here as low as there and has now been able to work its way all the way up to that area. But that does bring up the question, all right, great move, great bounce, but is there any sort of true power behind this price movement? Now, I have no idea, but by using charts here, we can make that very easy to answer in terms of, levels, and that's going to be 148. Why is 148 an important level? Well, if this is a truly strong bounce, well, then the price is going to start to show signs of progress. And I understand those are just words, right? Okay, Clay, if it's strong, it's going to show progress, but what do you mean show progress? Well, that's the great thing about technical analysis is it allows you to take words and make them very visual and very, quantifiable. So when I say, quote unquote, make progress, I want to see it stay above 148, because even if the price comes down here and hovers around, as long as it's above 148, then as I've done in past charts, you can see that would give you a stair step there, a stair step there, and you would still have stair steps progressing in the upwards direction. So again, did it have a nice bounce today? Absolutely. Is this bounce genuinely strong? Well, I don't know, but the good news is we can make that very easy to measure if the price stays above the 148 mark. So that, in my opinion, at least that'll be the key level all of next week. Next one, OCGN, and once again, this one will mean a little bit more of those of you that watch past videos, but for those of you that did, you should remember me drawing in that trend line right there, and check it out, just a classic example. It got the trend line break, and from there has been, I wouldn't call it explosive, but slow and steady, and sometimes slow and steady is the best way to go about it. So that's the overall context. Got the trend line break. As far as some of these new areas are concerned, as far as supports, ideal level to watch moving forward going to be right there at 1085. Ideal meaning for ask Clay, what make this chart look the best? And certainly if the price can stay above 1085. But if the price drops below there, that doesn't mean that the entire chart's epically destroyed or anything like that. But yeah, staying above it would be a great sign. As far as next battle points, the next big one to watch very, very closely going to be right up there at $12. You can see several days ago, $12 really presented a problem. Doesn't mean that it's impossible to break through. All I'm saying is that, the price is really going to need to bring its A game. And right here, I realized it didn't quite hit $12, but, got within the general vicinity of it. And once again, it held as resistance. But point here being $12 is going to be a level that I think a lot of people are going to be watching. So let's see if the price can get the break of it or not next week. Next one, WIMI, and this chart is definitely looking kind of shaky, maybe even ugly, but the point here being is sometimes there's opportunity in ugly, and this is certainly a situation where if you like to play pullbacks, if you like to play situations where you think everybody else has given up on it, but, and those are normally the times where everybody says, nope, it's over, and then that's when stocks like to all of a sudden turn around. But if you do like to play those sorts of, general setups, then, this is a very interesting stock because you got to give credit where credit's due. Big, huge volume. It showed the ability to move and move quickly. But yes, as of now, it is pulling back. But where's an area where this could potentially bounce? And to me, that breakout point right down there around $4.50. Makes sense. Now, you better be good at risk management. You better be good at honoring stop losses because, to be fair, maybe this is just a nasty move and it's going to keep on getting nastier and nastier. That's always a possibility, which is why, again, risk management is so important. However, to be fair, that's a two-sided coin because maybe this thing pulls down here, finds support, and then just goes very much so back to the upside. So from a risk reward standpoint, you got to like the relationship here, assuming again you're doing it right and willing to honor risk and go about that the way you should. But if you do like to play these pullback ones, then this is one that I would say should be on the watch list. Next one, FAMI, and certainly want to do a couple updates here. And the first update is I want to just now tilt this trend line down because now that we have more data, it seems as though that trend line is going to be the main level, which was possible now that we have that data point right there. Now, if you want to leave the resistance at the former level, I mean, I wouldn't argue against that. But, charts are always changing, right? Because every single day you're getting more information. And with the more information that we now have, in my mind, it just makes more sense to keep an eye on that resistance trend line right there. As far as levels of support are concerned, though, a level that came into play almost this morning, right down there around 34 cents. I say almost because, okay, technically speaking, it didn't quite hit that green line, but opened up very closely to it. But good to see that it behaved like it did right here, found some support. So if the price does come back down there, that doesn't mean that 34 cents is guaranteed to hold, but it is a more than plausible thought to have of, hey, the price has bounced from this level before. Maybe it can bounce again. But, from just a general perspective, I think these are going to be the two main technical levels that a lot of people will be caring about. Next one, TSLA Tesla. And just back to doing its normal thing, slow and steady grind. A couple days ago, did get the breakout of that resistance trend line right there and, back tested it. And from there, like I said, not necessarily explosive, but certainly effective. Slow and steady wins the race. So wanted to get a couple updates here as we head into the weekend. And, just a couple of straightforward areas. First being for those of you that like to play pullbacks, right around 1085 looks like an interesting level. But as I mentioned in a previous stock, don't remember which one, from an overall arching standpoint, sure, it would be great for the price to stay above that level. But as long as the price continues to maintain above the purple line, which is the 50-period moving average, then the overall trend is 100% in the bull's favor. So it's not like a price has to go up every single day in order to, be considered 100% bullish, because that's just not realistic. But as long as the price stays above that purple line, like I said, the bulls are in full control. And here's a perfect example, right? Pretty bad pullback, but it was still well above the purple line. Recovered. Another pullback. Recovered. I guess a pullback. Recovered. So like I said, as long as the price is above that purple line, that is by far what matters most. As far as areas of resistance, nothing fancy here at all. Right up there at about 1110 could be that next key battleground. But all in all, a big congratulations to all of you that have been playing Tesla, because this thing just basically goes straight up. Next one, MARK, and this is a very interesting one, because it has shown the ability to move and move big. That move right there was already very, very impressive in and of itself. And then, of course, that big gap up was crazy. And then, of course, things kind of fell apart. But now you look here, and the question becomes, all right, are things starting to come back to life? You look down here, volume is not gigantic, but it is returning. But what makes this most interesting, I'm going to zoom in to make this a little easier, is there is now this overall little miniature uptrending trend line. Now, don't get me wrong, just because there's an uptrending trend line does not mean that for sure guaranteed this is the start of something much bigger and the price is going to explode again. There are no guarantees. But is it at least plausible? Is it at least a rational thought that this upwards momentum here, or this upwards movement, could be a leading indicator that, okay, the bleeding is finally over, all the kind of terror is finally over, it's time to have some fun, it's time for this thing to come back alive? Yeah, that's plausible to have. And our job as traders is just to avoid random decisions. And it's not random at all to think that, yeah, maybe this is a leading indicator of some more movement to come. But that's also why, you want to always keep in mind levels of resistance. And right here, pretty clear that this general area right around 245 is going to be a main resistance area where, again, nothing guaranteed, but it is rational to think if the price can get up there and then break through 245, that could be kind of the secondary leading indicator that, yeah, the bulls are back, the momentum is back. So if you like to play those sorts of, actually that got ourselves a little ascending triangle right here, that's something that would be worth at least keeping an eye on. So that wraps up the top 10. Again, if you like what you saw and you want to learn more about this tool of technical analysis, how it can be used, how it should be used to build consistency as a trader, then definitely get signed up for the class. Like I said, it'll be next week on Thursday, November 4th at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Again, you can sign up in if you're watching YouTube, the description box. If you're watching at my site, right there on the webpage. And then as far as these top 10 videos are concerned, if you enjoy this format, if you would like for me to continue to make these videos, then please help me out with some communication by hitting that like button and leaving a basic comment, even if it's just saying thanks, hi, a ticker symbol that you'll be watching for next week. But those two things go a long way in communicating to me that it's worth the time and effort to do these videos. And as long as I know that it's worth the time and effort, then I have no problem at all continuing to do them. So I thank you in advance for your help in that regard as far as feedback is concerned. And again, I'm all for charts. I love to talk about charts. So if you want to learn more about them, then definitely get signed up for the class next week. Everybody take care. Have a good weekend.